have been so many good games in this World Cup, it's crazy. But my favorite World Cup game has to be England versus Mexico. That was such an amazing game. Happening in Mexico City, the Mexican team and the crowd and the entire stadium basically was loud, crazy, and energized. I felt like, oh, that's the game I would have loved to watch in the stadium itself. But that's a story for some other time. Focusing on the game again, Mexico started so well. It felt like it's inevitable before Mexico scores a goal. But against the run of the play, with Rice, Kane, and Bellingham's quality, England scored two back to back goals. And Mexico, to their credit, did not just give up and keep doing what they were doing so great. And they were rewarded. They were rewarded by scoring a goal just before the halftime. The second half was even crazier. Red card to England, then penalty to England, and then penalty to Mexico. This was so crazy, nobody knew how the game will end. And though the Mexico lost the game, I think they will go home very, very proud of their performance. And I think the fans would be very happy about how well they perform, even though they are disappointed that they got out of the tournament.
Okay, now for my favorite match or favorite game in the World Cup. I think this is a very easy answer for me. Obviously, there's been a lot of great games that I've seen on TV, like the England Mexico and the Brazil Norway, both of which happened on the same day. So I was personally rooting for both England and Norway, and it was a very good day for me because both of them have won. But my absolute favorite is the match I got a chance to see live in the stadium. So I flew to New York, New Jersey with my dad and watched the Norway Senegal game. So the game turned out to be an absolute like I have no words. It was a stunning game, and the atmosphere and seeing the Norway fans kind of like cheer even before the match started, and it was kind of like a parade that we kind of had to follow with the Norway fans because obviously even though Senegal had a lot of fans. They were the Norway, at least I would say 75% of the fans were Norwegians, or they at least supported Norway. They kind of like dressed up in their Viking outfits and they had a lot of chants. That was the atmosphere going into the game, and even when I was in the game, the first thing I was happy to see. So as you know, I support Man City here. So it was nice to see Erling Haaland even training. So training and doing his warm up. So that itself like gave me very happy. Made it felt like it was a game it was a dream come true seeing him. But when it comes to the game itself, right? So seeing him score two goals, really, I couldn't have asked for a better game. And Norway did win that game. So I was wearing a Norway T-shirt with Braut Haaland in the back. So it was really a surreal experience overall. And not only that, I had actually taken a video of an open play, and Haaland made that run. And the way he scored that goal, it was all captured on the video. So that is really great. And really, I have no words for that game. So that is my favorite game of the entire tournament. So what is my favorite goal in the World Cup? So when it comes to it's a very difficult question because a lot of goals have been scored and there are 48 teams. So it's very difficult to narrow down. But one thing that comes to my mind is in the round of 32 game for Norway versus Ivory Coast, there were two good goals. So one is by Ahmed Musa in the first half. So in the 39th minute, he scored a stunning curler shot at the goal. And then in the second half, Amad Diallo showed some individual brilliance and kind of like scored a goal, even though he came on as a substitute. Also, one more contender is the Cape Verde game against Argentina, where Cape Verde didn't have a lot of pressure, but they showed quality. And first of all, they took the game to extra time, which itself is a big deal because Argentina were world champions in 2022. And not only that, like there was an early goal in extra time by Argentina. So knowing all that, like it was easy for Cape Verde to fold at this point, and like they could have easily told themselves that okay, we have done all we could, but still Lopez Cabral didn't kind of like he kept trying, and he kind of scored a goal from a very difficult angle into the top corner of the net. So that was a great goal. That is a high potential for an absolute favorite of many people here. But I have other contenders as well. Obviously, there was a Brazil versus Norway game where Haaland scored the two goals because the stakes were pretty high. And again, just like Cape Verde, Norway didn't have high expectations, but they showed that they can topple Brazil under Carlo Ancelotti. So both the goals were amazing given the circumstances and the stakes. And also when it comes to England versus Mexico, or even England versus Congo for that matter. So both games were really good. But I would say the second goal by Harry Kane against DR Congo, that was insane. And it was a great pass by Anthony Gordon as well. Even yeah, so that was so if I have to sum it up, I mean there were a lot of great goal contenders, but if I have to pick one, let's call it as Erling Haaland's first goal in the Brazil game.
The goal of the tournament contenders in this World Cup are so many that it's even hard to remember all of them. Ahmad's goal against Norway. In the same game, Norway's goal against Ivory Coast. Both of them were amazing. Messi's third goal in the hat-trick against Algeria was really good. Haaland's goal, second goal especially, against Brazil was really good. Even Cabo Verde's second goal against Argentina, given the conditions and everything, was amazing. One of the underrated role I will say is the South Korea's first goal against Canada on the first match. I think that was a really, really good goal too. But for me, the best goal has to be Messi's goals against Cabo Verde. Everything in that goal was world class. The pass for Martinez, amazing. Pinpoint exactly where Messi wanted. Then the touch by Messi. I think that's the cake. That's what makes the goal really, really good. And then obviously his finishing. Amazing. Nothing to say more on that. He's the GOAT, and I think till now that's the best goal of this tournament. My favorite moment in the World Cup has to be the final whistles and the scenes that follow Cabo Verde versus Spain draw. People, most of the people who don't follow AFCON like me, didn't know anything about Cabo Verde and just assume that European champion Spain gonna beat this tiny island nation 4-5-6-0. But the game was completely different. Cabo Verde defended extremely well, very disciplined, with passionate, with dedication, and their goalkeeper had a man of the match performance. And when the final whistle blew and they drew 0-0, it was amazing. The stadium was feeling proud. I had my home sitting feeling proud. The players were feeling proud. Everybody was so happy for them. And the entire story was so inspiring. And I was sitting there thinking, this is what makes World Cup great. And for that reason, I think that is my favorite moment.
Okay, so when it comes to my favorite moment in the World Cup, I have already covered my live experience going to the stadium, the New York, New Jersey stadium for the Norway versus Senegal game. It had a lot of moments. So, like, obviously, I have already covered all of that in my favorite match. So, that had a lot of best moments for me. But if I have to pick some other moment, I mean, usually when people talk about their favorite moment, it kind of also means talking about their favorite goal. But let me give kind of like a quick context before summing up my favorite moment. So when it comes to the England, who I'm rooting for in the World Cup. I have seen the first game against Croatia. When I saw that, I was super impressed with the 4-2 win. They felt like very convincing, and immediately I felt that they were one of the contenders for going all the way and winning the whole thing. However, when I saw the England Ghana game and even the England Panama game, I kind of like was very low on confidence because it's not like we lost either of those two games, but I felt that we were not convincing at all. Especially the one in the Ghana game, I kind of almost fell asleep. Same thing in the first half of the England Panama game. So, having have had low expectations and the fact that we kind of like struggled and somehow bet Congo, even though we had two brilliant goals scored by Harry Kane and assisted by Gordon, Congo did score first, and I kind of felt that we will take away. I had bigger expectations from that game. So now going into the round of 16, right? For a match to the quarters, England was playing Mexico. So let me tell you one thing: England were the favorites for sure, but it so happened that they were playing at the Azteca, high altitude. Norway fans were practically kind of like making it as hostile as possible for the England players. Like I don't know how much was involved, but I mean that is what I believe home teams do. I mean they obviously will try everything they can to cheer for their home crowd. So I mean it's all part of the game. It's all fair. So when it comes to the England Mexico game itself, I honestly expected England to kind of like, I wouldn't have been surprised if England would have lost that game. But it's not about the goals scored by Bellingham or even the goal line clearance by Bellingham. So in the first half, I was very pleased to see the two early goals. But after I saw the red card in the second half, I felt the game was over. Because Mexico, that is when Mexico kicked into high gear. And even with 3-1 up, I knew that after the penalty, it kind of like pretty much summed it up that, okay, there is no way that anything is happening in that game. However, the substitutions Tuchel made, I always knew that he is very good at knockout games. But seeing the defensive play by England, I think I fell in love with it because I never thought I will enjoy such a good moment when England kind of like brings in defenders. At one point, they even taken out Harry Kane, and they have brought in another. They brought in, I think, like a midfielder, Morgan Rogers as well. So pretty much, given all of that, like there were a lot of good moments in the defending as well. The John Stones moment was like a heart in the mouth moment, but he did everything he can to defend. So like I won't even blame him for almost scoring an own goal there. But man, like every player was at their best there. So it is a culmination of all the good moments. But ultimately, the defending is what I'm most impressed. But actually, I will give the my favorite moment as the Bellingham goal line clearance because it showed that not only was he able to score two goals, he was also able to make defensive plays, and that was almost like a John Stones goal line clearance for Man City. So Bellingham's goal line clearance is my favorite moment in the World Cup. Okay, time for the quarterfinal predictions. So when it comes to the first game, it's France versus Morocco. Here, I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. Morocco is a force to be reckoned with, obviously, and France, we know France. France is the underlying favorite of the tournament. I actually feel that this is something that France cannot take this opponent lightly, even though we don't know about Saibari's fitness, given his injury in the previous game. But still, I feel that France will still go through, and it's going to be a 3-2 win for France. It's going to be an open-ended game. There'll be a lot of goals in that game. France always scores like 3+ goals. So yeah, in general. So except the last game against Paraguay, but anyways, I feel that it's going to be 3-2, and France are going to leak 2 goals as well. It's going to be close. The next game is going to be between Belgium, Spain. Okay, let's talk about Belgium, Spain. So uh, here I feel that Belgium has surprised me in the tournament because even though the only convincing win they had was against New Zealand before the match against USA, and once I saw that match, even though USA was not great, Belgium, I felt that I was surprised, genuinely surprised, and I feel that their goalkeeper is too strong, and it's not like De Bruyne, Lukaku, or even Doku even started that game against USA. Although Lukaku came on in the end and scored the last goal, but still they didn't start the game and they didn't play it for the major chunk of the game. So I have a feeling that if they do a similar strategy against Spain, let's say that they don't start these three, and you have Thibaut Courtois. Spain are not very clinical. We have seen like they don't have a recognized centre forward. I have a feeling that if they bring these players in the second half, Spain is going to have a lot of problems. So I don't think, contrary to what most people think, I have a feeling that Belgium will provide an upset and they're going to win this on probably penalties. I think it's going to definitely go all the way there. And obviously, since I rate Courtois as a better goalkeeper, he's going to do a lot of saves, and we are going to have definitely have De Bruyne and Lukaku if they come on as subs for the entire extra time and even penalties. So that's why they're going to edge out Spain, in my opinion. England versus Norway. This is the game I'm most looking forward to because I technically root for both the teams, and I prefer England to qualify than Norway. Anyways, I also feel that that's what's gonna happen because even though Norway has Erling Haaland and X Factor, I still feel that overall as a team, England is better. So when you talk about the individual battles, the battle of the midfield, England is definitely better. When it comes to the centre backs handling Erling Haaland versus the centre backs handling Harry Kane, I would favour Harry Kane in that sense. And I also would prefer England going through, even though I know that will happen because of the battles across the pitch. The reason being is if England make it all the way, I have a feeling that they can threaten any team that goes to the final with them. So I feel like if England makes it all the way to the final is not going to be an easy game at all, even if it's France. So even though France has beaten England in 2022, I still vividly remember that game. That was not an easy game either. So I have a feeling that England is strong and they will edge out Norway. But again, that's not going to be an easy game. Um, I am going to go with uh, a 2-1 England. So I believe it's going to be Erling Haaland with one of the goals for sure, and England will score two goals, one early and one late as a winner. That's what I'm predicting. As for Belgium Spain, I forgot to give my predictions, but I feel that that is going to be a 1-all draw, and then it will go to extra time, and then it will be a Belgium win on penalties, like I mentioned earlier. And the final game of the quarterfinals is between Argentina and Switzerland. So even though I felt that Argentina versus Colombia will be a better clash, Switzerland being there is not a bad thing at all. It's still going to be an exciting game. I have a feeling that Argentina will narrowly win 1-0, right? Even though I feel Switzerland will have a great start, but I feel the goalkeeper will make some good saves and keep him out. And given that Switzerland were not that clinical against Colombia, it goes both ways as well. It's not just Colombia who were not clinical, Switzerland was also not clinical. So I think that Argentina will edge out 1-0 and they will go through. So the semi-final clashes, what I'm predicting is Argentina versus England, and it's going to be Belgium versus France.
Quarterfinal has so many good games, and I'm really excited to watch all of them. First game, France vs Morocco. I think it's going to be really interesting. I think Morocco is a really good team, and I think they have what it takes to beat France. But can they actually hold Mbappe, Olise, and Dembele out while also be attacking enough to score on the run? That will be interesting to see. I won't count Morocco out, but I still think France will win this game 2-1 and go to the semi-finals. The next game, I think, is probably the least interesting game in this Quarterfinal for me, Spain versus Belgium. Both teams have been meh for me in this World Cup. I generally don't know what and which player will do well in this match. But if I have to choose, I'm gonna choose Spain 1-0 over Belgium. The next game, in my opinion, is gonna be the most interesting game of this quarterfinal. Norway versus England. Two teams with a very good attack, but not that good defense against each other. Amazing. I feel this game, hopefully, both the managers don't go pragmatic and actually try to play, can give us a lot of goals. I will say England might slightly edge over Norway given their overall quality and end up winning 3-2 like they won over Mexico. Probably in a more controlled fashion, but still. The last game, Argentina Switzerland, I think is going to be interesting. Argentina obviously is a very good team, but they have not done that well in this World Cup, in my opinion. And Switzerland is not a difficult team in terms of defense. So Switzerland might concede. It's just very hard for me to say. So in the end, I will say it might actually go 1-1 draw, and Argentina win on penalties.